Go.
Alright, so we're going to look at a couple scenarios. First, imagine that you're a high school football player in the state of Texas, and you're a senior. Your year's going pretty good, and you're winning games, and you're like a local celebrity. But when it comes to recruiting time at the end of the season, you don't have a whole lot of attention from colleges. You're kind of discouraged, and you've got some deep-reading schools that aren't going to pay for it, and you've got maybe a D2 school that's not going to pay for very much of it, and you really need to go to college and get your education to further your success in the future. That's one scenario. The next scenario is you're a sibling, a parent, nephew plays high school football, and they are traveling out of state to go play another team, and you can't make the game, but you would really like to see. The UIL has a law in the state of Texas that high school football, regular season high school football games on Friday nights cannot be televised. And maybe if this rule is changed, it would have opportunities for more college scholarships and things like that. So I'm going to talk about that today. Like I said, the UIL has a rule. I couldn't find exactly where in the UIL handbook it said, but the rule is that regular season games on Friday nights in the state of Texas are prohibited from being televised live. Games on Thursday nights, Saturday afternoons, and playoff games on Friday nights can be televised, but during the regular season, high school football cannot be televised live. On September 9, 2005, Robert E. Lee High School from Tyler, Texas, played Colleran High School from Cincinnati, Ohio, in the inaugural Kirk Herbstreit Kickoff Classic in Cincinnati, Ohio. Kirk Herbstreit Classic is an event that consists of several high school football games throughout Saturday afternoon. It's usually on Saturday afternoon. This inaugural was on a Friday night. It has several games from high schools from Ohio and Texas, facing off against high schools from all over the nation. A quote from HerbstreitFootballSeries.com says the classic pits teams from Ohio and Texas against some of the best teams all across the nation in fierce competition. On September 9, 2005, ESPN wanted to broadcast the first inaugural Kirk Herbstreit Kickoff Classic, and the UIL forbade the game from being televised because of the rule, and that upset a lot of people, and obviously it kind of upset ESPN, but they didn't want to make a whole lot of fuss about it. But there's a lot of good and bad that comes from. But there's a lot of speculation on whether it should or should not be televised. Robert E. Lee High School board members went to a hearing with the UIL and tried to get it, before the game happened, they tried to get it fixed where they could, televise it, and UIL wouldn't budge, and therefore it wasn't televised. And still to this day, the UIL will refuse to have Friday night games televised. Why? Could never find why. Because they can be obviously televised Thursday nights and Saturday afternoons. But the Kirk Herbstreit Classic, was obviously played and continues to be played Labor Day weekend every single year, but the UIL forbids television broadcasts. Until 2009, when the Kirk Herbstreit Classic moved the game series on Saturday afternoons, they could broadcast it on television. DSCN, though, is not the only network that wanted to broadcast high school football. Lots of local news channels and like Channel 8, Channel 4 in the DFW area, they would like to broadcast, and they're trying to work on being able to broadcast games on Friday nights. Because as of right now, all they can have is a pregame show, a few highlights of the game as it's being taking place, and then a postgame show. And we'll look at some of the pros and cons of being able to televise games. Some of the pros are that players, better opportunities for college scholarships. Games such as the Kickoff Classic can be viewed without actually attending the games. You know, you can watch your nephew or son or whoever, you can watch it on TV. No big deal. Some of the cons are that it would create fewer crowd attendance, and trying to give as much money as you can. Obviously, these times, your high schools and budget cuts and all that stuff. Pressure on players and coaches to win at all costs. Being on TV and playing in front of the nation is bigger than a lot of people think, and create a lot of pressure. And it's already an emotional game, so it could be more emotional. It could be that. But those are some of the pros and cons. I think that it would be a good idea to go ahead and televise it, because so many people are already for it and working on it. And it creates a lot of opportunities for kids that wouldn't normally get a lot of exposure. They're good players, but they wouldn't normally get a lot of exposure because maybe they're from a small high school or from someplace that's not just real well known. And if local news broadcasts started broadcasting games on Friday nights, and they can spin random games from the game of the week, you vote on online or something, it would create a lot more opportunities for kids who can't afford to pay for college, better opportunities to use their talents to pay for their school. And that's pretty much my opinion on it, but there's a lot of people who disagree. That's pretty much all I have.
All right, give it.